Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Share The Backline, the podcast where two washed-up local musicians wax poetic about gripes, triumphs, and the mundane. I am your host, O'Brien.
And Beardley.
All right, so it's we got some very tragic news this morning. Well, last night is when I first heard. You actually sent it to me.
Yeah.
So instead of shedding light on the tragedy, we wanted to show some love for the people affected, for the city affected. My hometown, Monterey Park. It's where I grew up. We moved there from Frogtown City Terrace, and then to Monterey Park when I was like maybe 2 years old. So I lived there my whole life. I lived in Pasadena for a couple of years, went back to Monterey Park, and then eventually moved to Ontario and then here. But for basically all of my upbringing from childhood to adulthood was spent in Monterey Park. So it was, I'm already cried out. So hopefully I don't start to tear up talking about how much I love that city. My goal is to eventually move back. When I started looking to buy my first house, that's where I looked, but unfortunately I was very naive as to property values. But my parents still live there. They're still in the house that they raised me in, and it's right there in Monterey Park. And it's as much a part of me as my parents and my family. Growing up, it raised me. It shaped me. All the people there, even my parents. My parents have been in Monterey Park longer than they were in Mexico. They came over when they were like 19, 20 was when they started living in Monterey Park, and so they've been Monterey Park residents longer than they've been Mexicans. I mean, they're U.S. citizens now, so they're more Monterey Park than they are Mexico, and it's heartbreaking. We always joke. Me and my friends back home always joke about Monterey Park being this little bubble. I have a friend, Victor, who always jokes about if there's nuclear war or civil unrest or anything crazy like that, we'll go back to Monterey Park because it's a bubble. Like nothing ever happens like in Monterey Park. Like nothing could ever come in, you know? And so it was really hard. I kept waking up at night and checking my phone, hitting the refresh and stuff. And it was really weird to see Monterey Park on the news. And so many people, like, you tell people, I'll tell people, I'm from Monterey Park. And they're like, what the fuck? Where's that? You have no idea. And it's literally like you could throw a rock at downtown from Monterey Park. Like I could stand in my front yard and see downtown. And it's just a beautiful city. Very dense Chinese population and Vietnamese, some Korean. So it's just such a beautiful place. Great views, all the hills. I worked at the Ralph's right there on Atlantic and Garvey. I worked at Johnny Thompson. It was a staple in Monterey Park, right there on Garvey between New Avenue, New Wave, and shout out to Eric and Garfield. And I've been to these Lunar New Year's festivals and stuff, and they're beautiful, great food, great people, and it's tragic. But I wanted to just tell people if you're not familiar, if you're not from the area, and you see the news and you're learning about Monterey Park because of this, it's just such a beautiful place. I'm very blessed to have been raised there and to still have friends there and loved ones. And it's, like I said, it's the place that I want to live my golden years. I want to be a little old man with a garden in the front, right there in Monterey Park. And it's still true today. Something happened that has been kind of a constant in America, and it's a very American product. Made in America is what that is. And it's really sad. And I don't know what else we can say about these tragedies that haven't been, I mean, by now, what happened. by the time you're listening to this podcast. But there's nothing that we can say that hasn't been said a billion times. You know, even saying thoughts and prayers as a joke is that's already cliche or however you want to call, whatever you want to call it. But I not to say not to downplay prayer. I'm very much a not religious, but very strong proponent of the strength of prayer, especially in numbers, and how it can affect you on the inside and kind of shine on the outside. So, like we said in our post, it's rather than have anger and hate in our hearts, just kind of be there's a lot of fucking darkness out there in the world, and just I would like for myself to do my best to be a light to shine on that darkness. And I implore all of you listening to do the same. Just hug your loved ones. You can start at home, you know, just make sure everybody that you love knows that you love them, and keep them close. Keep them in your thoughts, and be as mindful and thoughtful as possible as you go throughout your day. I don't know if you want to say anything about it.
It was a tough night, you know. I immediately thought of two people right away. Just making sure they're safe. Well, making sure one person was safe. You know, my younger brother who just turned 21 does like to go out. I know he has.
Sorry. Jesus, sorry, I hit the wrong button. I was trying to silence it.
Yeah, same. I made sure to do that before we started.
Yeah, for the first time, it was me that didn't do it.
No, because you know, like I said, my brother just turned 21. I wanted to make sure, you know, he was home and safe, because we grew up in Montebello, which is basically the town over, you know, and
a stone's throw.
I spent a lot of time in Monterey Park, you know, playing in bands that were from Monterey Park. My mom lived in Monterey Park, like right at the edge of it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
The food out there is amazing. And yeah, I had to make sure, you know, he was safe, you know, because I'm pretty sure he has friends out in the area. And then the second person was, you know, I thought about is you know. I was hoping you hadn't heard the news of, like, you know, I don't want to break it to you, like, hey, this is happening right now, you know, make sure your people are safe.
Yeah.
And it just sucks, man. Like, but you know, we talked about doing the pod for, you know, today, and you know, we're gonna try to be that light. You know, it sucks, but like I told you, and you know, we're SGV historians now for a small part, you know, like of
custodians
of everything, you know, San Gabriel Valley, you know, and that includes our hometowns, you know, and you know, I find it like it's our duty to go on and, you know, shed light on these towns and stuff. And it's just the wrong kind of light happened yesterday.
Yeah. Any publicity is good publicity. That's not good publicity. It's for people to, because it's weird. It's weird, but if you're from Monterey Park, you know that it's true. It's a small town. It's so strange because it's in the middle of everything, but it's so like condensed that you kind of run into you see everybody that you know. Whenever I still stop into that Ralph's, I'll see somebody that I know. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like there are places there. You go to the movies right there on the Atlantic Times Square. This photo right here, I don't know if you guys have seen it. That's my my movie club, and it's from friends that worked at Ralph's, and we still like we have it's a movie club. So we go watch movies, and we go right there at Lang Times Square. Not Lang. Yeah, is that what it's called? The new one, by the 10.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
Lang Times Square. Confusing with Atlantic Square.
Yeah.
But I mean, we've
It's
talked
still-
about that
yeah.
on many episodes.
Yeah,
About
I spent
going down to Music Plus and Blockbuster and everything in that Caro's and
because I spent so much time there. Pre-internet, like would take one bus to Atlantic Square and just walk around with Tower of Music. And you mentioned Johnny Thompson. I rented my saxophone there for when I was in the
saxophone. Me too, when I was a kid, and then I ended up
and,
working there repairing the saxophones. I was like, isn't this a bitch?
No, dude, it's a great city. It's a great town. Like I said, I spent a lot of time there. Being from Montebello. The first time I had boba was in Monterey Park.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's
Way before it caught on.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's
so,
just we're here, and we wish the best for everybody. Coming out of this situation, it's not going to be easy. Especially those like we posted some stuff, and the amount of comments and replies that we got. This affected a lot of people, and we're here for you guys. Hopefully, we're not gonna like O'Brien said. We're not gonna go into what happened. I'm sure you guys know already, especially if you're from the area, from the SGV. You know exactly what happened. So we're just gonna try to carry on with our podcast. And
yeah. That all being said, this is like an escape for people, and that's what we're here to do. We're here to shed light on the things that we love, and we'll keep it that way. It's like I said, it's a very American problem, and there's no real solution to it. Just there are like people, like I'm a proponent of our Constitution and our amended Constitution and everything, but just like people, we have basic human needs like security and love and all those things, and we can pervert them ourselves. So, we can get obsessed with things and start we can become shopaholics or food addicts or sex addicts and all these things. We can pervert those basic needs, and I think that in America there's been a perversion of certain rights, and I honestly don't know how to fix it other than like a spiritual overhaul of the entire nation, which isn't really feasible. But for now, what we can do is band together when these things happen and help those affected. So thank you for listening, and thank you for I did post something to have people check in. I didn't share the replies that I got on there. A lot of friends and stuff checking in from the area, and just wanted to thank you for replying to my post. It was good to I hit my parents' episode. They heard it from their house, so that was fucking heart wrenching. I was just like, oh, they thought those fireworks, and them telling me that. Just,
too close to home, man. I think that's why it hit both of us hard. Maybe you harder just because that is your city.
it's my
but
baby,
like I said,
my third parent.
yeah, being on the street, it's just too close to home. But anyways, thank you guys again. Like O'Brien said, thank you for coming to hang out with us. I especially want to send a thank you out to Gil again.
Another round of applause.
Yeah, that was
Gil.
that was a great episode. If you haven't checked out episode number 12, definitely do it. that was another thing that like almost brought me to tears. It's just hearing his passion,
Yeah, that clip you made. I don't think it's cool too when we listen back to the episodes. to hear the things we didn't, because we're here, talking to him, and then, but we capture that moment where he like it almost sounded like he was getting choked up, and then you got choked up when you were making that edit.
It's hard. Like I don't want to come out wrong, but when I'm like editing and listening back to the episodes, I'm in work mode. I'm not trying to find that magic. It's just we put out a clip Friday like we always do. On Instagram at Share The Backline. We're so close to 100 followers too, dude. It's crazy.
Yes.
The growth of this podcast has just been, and the love.
Share it if you guys are listening. Share a post. Tell your friends.
I'm just in work mode. I'm not looking for that magic, and like I said, put out a clip, and it did really well. Thank you all for sharing. It's probably our best clip to date besides the red vine challenge. So I was just watching it over again, and this time I was really appreciating everything that Gil said, and the stories you guys had. And then I heard that, and I'm like, man, there was some real feelings behind that, and I had to make a clip of it, to share it with everybody else. If you didn't watch the episode, at least you saw the clip, and it's just, it was powerful. So
yeah, it definitely made me appreciative for being a video podcast where you can watch this. If you're listening to this, you can also watch it on YouTube. But that definitely made it more powerful because you see his face and you see the sincerity in his words when he sang them, and it was pretty powerful. And it was cool. I think we got a lot of love for that episode because he did. I mean, the band was well known in the area, but also he was, is very charismatic and made a lot of friends and stuff and helped people along the way.
Yeah, super
So
cool.
it was cool to have him on, and a lot of people were looking forward to catching up with him and seeing what's been going on and everything. Hear those stories again. I mean, Hector Romero, the singer, he messaged me. He said he listened to it. He's like, "Good job." And he also said, he said, "Jam, I don't remember half of the stories that he told." I was like, he said he has a shitty memory. I was like, me too. That's why we're doing the podcast, And then Vanessa Wynn, the girl that's in the video that we played at the end. Also, if you're listening to it, you can go to YouTube and there's actually a music video at the end of the podcast. And she was listening to it, so I was like, "Oh, go check it out on YouTube." And then she saw that, she's like, "Oh my god, that whole video!" So it was definitely a blast from the past, and I had a lot of fun doing it. I'm glad we were able to get them up.
Yeah, you mentioned the video at the end. That's one thing we're gonna start doing a lot more as well. Because not only do we want to shed light on the bands from the past, those local unsung heroes, we also want to be, how can I say this, curators for the future.
Yeah,
does that make sense?
Yeah, wow, that was a good one.
Big words. Yeah. So like there's going to be episodes where we're featuring a local artist, local band. So that's why, stick around to the end of the episode, hear different music. These, back in the MySpace days, it felt like it was easier to find new music. Now it's for me at least, it's a little difficult to find something new. Because you go to Spotify and then you just hit your playlist. Like, I'm guilty of it. Every morning I'm listening to like one of 3 playlists. So it's the same song. So it's a little hard. So to find new music, it's hard. That's why, we both had the idea, like, we want to share other music whether it's from the past or from the future. Like Eric's episode, we had a live version of LDS.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm happy to say I just joined LDS along with no, I'm just kidding.
Honorary member. Yes.
And then Gil's episode, we had Light the Sky at the end with the music video
You
and
can
everything.
tell how close we all were. In the beginning, it says who shot and edited that video was Mike Lai, who was the guitar player for LDS.
So yeah, it's if you're looking for new music too, or if you want to promote your band, make sure you send us a message, email me. We'll feature it when we can, because the plan is to have like a backlog of music ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple episodes, 1 through 12 that don't have music in it because we didn't really mention it. Like, I'm not just going to throw a song up and
Yeah, it was my bad. A couple of I was like, oh, we're gonna put this song at the end, and then I don't mention it all.
Yeah.
He's like, you got anything else? I'm like, nope. It's time for a snack.
Yeah. So, follow those bands, the ones you can, at least, the ones that aren't around.
Oh, my heart.
Yeah. But who knows? We might be bringing bands back together.
That would be cool, dude. If one of like our interviews can get one of these bands back together, that would just be like, that would be the buzz right there. That'd be like the shit I'd be chasing. Like, let's do it again. Like, let's see who else we can get on, and get them fired up again. Telling all these old stories, and then all their bandmates, listen to it and get fired up again, like when they were kids.
Yeah.
But it would be very like you said, curators of the future. It would be cool, like it's like we've talked about this podcast growing and being able to do shit like throw a show or things like that. But also it would be very, very cool to have it big enough where we can help those people along, the people that we talk about being influenced by these local bands and stuff. And then, well, it wouldn't be like them directly. It'd probably be like a copy of a copy, like whoever was influenced by these bands that we've mentioned and have on, and then those bands influenced other, because by now we're like at the third generation. You get me?
Yeah.
So it's like having those kids like and their music on would just be, it'd be just really cool to see that progression of this type of music and how it's grown from what we knew locally and what we were influenced by. It's just music's so fucking cool. So I remember when I was a kid, I had a drum teacher, and he told me, he said, if you want to play like, let's say you want to play like John Bonham, he's like, don't listen to John Bonham, like listen to who John Bonham listened to.
Ringo.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about it. It's like
Mitch Mitchell.
if we go back far enough, like everything probably leads back to like the Beatles,
Mm-hmm.
or like old blues type stuff.
Very.
Yeah. Oh, there'll be people like, I hate the Beatles, but you like this band? They were influenced by the Beatles,
Yeah, it's like what we said on that episode. It was like, oh, it's overrated. Yeah, today.
Yeah.
I mean, even then, like if you put a fucking vinyl on and you put like those fucking big cans on, thanks Eric for that word. You put those big cans on, and you just sit there and fucking do that, and then you start the song, and you just sit there and really fucking listen to it. It's different.
Yeah.
The things they did with panning, with sound, and you pick up different. I'm not promoting psychedelics here, but get as close to that mellow as you can, and the more you listen to it, it becomes like hypnotic, and you can kind of reach those levels where you're more in tune with what's coming in to your ears and your senses, and you pick up different things. And it was so cool the way they is something not recording?
No, we're good.
It was a different time, like very, very experimental musically, because there was no roadmap. They didn't know what they had nothing to follow. They were just fucking kind of making it up as they went along. So it's really cool when you pick up those little. I notice you like even so like you'll notice little things or you'll hum little riffs and stuff that I don't even notice in a song. So I'm just fucking picturing myself playing on drums, you know. But then you'll like air guitar apart. I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, oh yeah, that is a guitar part. It's like 6 guitar parts, and you single out the one that you can't really hear. Like, wow, it's fucking layers and shit.
Like the tambourine parts and stuff.
Yeah, the tambourine on that Light the Sky song.
Dude, it was crazy because Census Fail is probably like my top three favorite bands, you know. We're gonna get into that in a little bit. But
Oh, we're doing segments?
yeah, I guess. But my wife, she was I guess the Census Fail song had came in on while she was with her dad one day. This was many moons ago when we were still young and whatever. But her dad, you know, her dad's a drummer too. My father-in-law, he's a drummer, and he's like, "Oh man, that's cool that they threw a tambourine part in there." And I forgot.
She's like, oh, Dad, are you on drugs again?
I forgot what song it is. I gotta find what song it is. But I remember, like, she told me, she's like, "Did you know there's tambourines in this song?" She puts it on, and I'm listening to it, and I had to listen to it like 2 or 3 times. I'm like, "Oh shit, I hear it now." So, like, I've taken a different path to listening to music, and I always feel like left out at shows and stuff because I don't sing along to the words.
Same.
I listen to the music, you know, and I try to dig deep and find different things, like you said, you know, like singling out a single part or whatever. Like, oh man, that's so cool, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I always feel bad.
If you insist, and my head I'd be scratched.
They're listening.
Oh my
Big
god,
brother.
I always feel bad going to shows and stuff because I see people around me. I'm not saying I don't know the words, but I can probably hum the entire song, you know, like every Iron Maiden song out there, you know, because I know the music more than I know the lyrics. And I think that goes back to like my dad always telling me too, is like, you know all these words, but you can't pass the test. It's like singing singing along to a song. It's like, you remember all these words, but you can't pass the test. There's something like that, you
Called
know?
out.
Yeah. But the music, man, I've been digging deep into like different type of music and stuff, and I wish I would have done that a lot sooner when I was still playing in bands and stuff. Maybe write some cooler shit, but
Yeah, it's I do appreciate when people can do that, like single out those throwaway riffs that they're like, oh, we need to fatten up this sound, you know, put this riff and we'll bury it somewhere in the like the 5th guitar track that we put on. There's only one guitar player in the band, but also the the lyrics. I'm the same way. The lyrics were always kind of secondary to me. Obviously, I'm listening to the drums first and everything, and listening to the mix, and I found myself doing that more on Spotify, where you can hit the lyrics and actually like read what they're saying.
that's what it says. Yeah.
Yeah, like holy shit, I've been saying my Sharona wrapped up like a douche.
Kiss the sky. What? I thought it was kiss the guy.
That was kiss this guy. And you're talking about sing-alongs. I remember when I saw probably Running Late. It probably wasn't even Light the Sky at the time. But when I saw Running Late and people were singing along to their songs, I was like, holy shit. I was like, that's fucking tight. Like, or clapping along and doing all those alongs. Woe on the woes. And I remember another band, shout out to Carlos and Alan, but Adoration. I don't know if you ever played with them, but I think it was their first show ever, and it was in Montebello. I think at the American Legion Hall. It might have been. It was like on the top story. But they were like, yeah, come down. We're gonna play our first show, or whatever. And it was fucking packed, and everyone was singing along. I was like, what the fuck? And I felt so left out. I wanted to. I was like, like I didn't know the words, but I was like, yeah, this is cool. But I was like fucking blown away. I remember and that became another level for when bands are singing, or bands when the kids are singing along to the bands. It's like whenever I was playing and I saw somebody singing along, I was like, damn, that's another buzz, you know?
Yeah,
You know,
dude.
like, that's something you fucking want to chase.
Yeah. When we were, I think we were October Drive. We hadn't made the switch over to Wounded Saints. We put out a song called Second Place Victory. And I remember putting that song out, and that was the first time like I seen numbers go up like that. I think we had like 500 plays within a couple hours, like, and we weren't playing shows at the time. And then when we finally did, and I think we played our like first show at the Wire in Upland.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a good amount of people there, but like seeing them sing along to that song, I was like, fuck, that's because it was a sing along song, but fuck, yeah, like getting chills now. Just like I think I even like started to tear up on stage, like because it was our last song, and just seeing everybody singing along is just like,
I get it. And it became such a thing, like the woes and having like sing along parts and shit. Fucking cheaters. No, I'm just kidding. But it was like, well, once it happens and you catch that buzz, like, oh, we got to write another one. Like, where's the sing along part gonna come in? And
for
it
me,
fucking juices you up, pumps your tires when you're up there. Like,
for me, I don't even think it was like, oh, we got to write another song like this. Like, yeah, it's cool, but I wanted to shift into like, I don't want to play shows. Like, I want to write this music. I want to put it out and let it marinate in people's brains, and like promote the shit out of it, do videos for it, whatever we got to do. Like now it's super easy. I could put a reel together and put a song on it, and there's a chance it might blow up, like, get 3,000 views in a day. That's what I wish I would have done while I was playing, and instead of, hey, we put out a new album yesterday, we're playing our first show today, nobody's gonna know the songs, dude. Like I want that feeling again though, when, like I told you, like if we start jamming, like I don't want to play shows, I just want to put music. I want to do the Beatles, the later Beatles thing, it's just put out music and let people.
It's a Def Leppard too.
Yeah, it's just
like build the foundation first,
get people hyped about it, and have them
play with masks on. Like fucking
we're gonna
Twitch streamers, like fucking face reveals.
Yeah, we're gonna gorillas this thing, dude. Cartoons.
Yeah, it's just a screen. We're playing behind it.
Yeah,
sick.
Metalocalypse, dude.
Dude, you talked about, how did you find new music before? You like unlocked the memory for me.
Honestly, it was, I'd find a band that I was into, and then it was just all MySpace. YouTube wasn't even a thing. I remember, like, I think it was probably my senior year, like, somebody had mentioned YouTube. I'm like, hey, what's that website where you can watch videos, But MySpace, it was just seeing who these bands were friends with, who are they, what page are they commenting on, the local guys just checking out the other bands and finding new music. I remember too, is like buying Hawthorne Heights' second album, and they were on Victory, and Victory showcased a bunch of up and coming bands too. I wish I remember the name of this band, but they were like, I can remember the video so vividly, I just can't remember the song. But I followed them on MySpace and started chatting with them and talking to them and stuff, and this was before I was in bands too. Became a fan of theirs, and just word of mouth, dude. I don't know if it was
Copies of tapes.
not tapes, but like CDs. Yeah. But yeah, that was it. Just finding people on MySpace. Now there's 1,000 websites where you can find new music, but I think because
Because there's so many.
there's so many, it's harder to
It's
find.
like what do you want for dinner tonight?
Yeah, Del Taco.
The answer is always Del Taco.
We're gonna. I just want to put this out there real quick. Walking Blind podcast. We love you guys, but you're still wrong. We're gonna continue this beef. In a later episode, it's just we felt it wasn't right for this episode. But
To have beef.
yeah,
But there's a little teaser beef for you.
yeah, we got some stuff coming for you guys, dude. Don't worry.
A little bell beefer. But you mentioned MySpace, and I was fucking bumbling through this on an earlier episode. I was trying to talk about how technology has been advancing in leaps and bounds. The word I was looking for was exponentially, and they did compare it to like what I was talking like lizards and apes and stuff, like the way the AI has been working and the algorithms and everything. I'm thinking about new music. I mean, when Gil was on, he was talking about how the record industry changed when the internet came out, and we really were at the mercy of just record companies. Whatever they wanted us to listen to, we would listen to, because we would go to fucking Blockbuster Music or Tower Records, all in Monterey Park. Shout out Monterey Park. And they would have those...
warehouse music in Montebello.
yeah, like warehouse. I want it like warehouse. And they would have like the rack of new stuff, and it was maybe like 5 or 6 new records or albums or whatever. And you have your genre, like, okay, these are the 4 metal albums that came out, so these are my 4 choices. You take them, and I remember when it was like a big deal when you could open them and listen to them, remember? And they would just reseal it.
Dude, I remember doing that a bunch out here at Ontario Mills, because they had a huge Virgin like mega store out here.
Nice.
I don't know if you remember that at all.
No, I never really spent time out here. We would always go like west, or go to like Santa Monica and stuff.
Dude, so Ontario Mills, it was a big deal once it was first built, but this Virgin store connected both sides. Yeah, I think Ontario. I don't know. I don't think I know. Ontario Mills is just like a giant circle, but this Virgin like cut. You can walk across it and cut through.
Oh shit!
And I just remember like the back wall had a bunch of booths where you could put on headphones and listen to music. I don't know if you could open the music and pick, but they had like, all the new releases, like, listen to this here. It's funny because I remember playing the Gorillas, mentioning the Gorillas earlier. I remember playing the Gorillas. I think it was Clint Eastwood, and I showed my grandma, I'm like, hey, can I get this? Or,
that was kind of like it was like a cock block, dude. It was like they were fucking ratting you out because they're like, let me see.
Yeah. So my grandma put it in, and she's like, doom, 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 boop, boop, boop. And then she's like, yeah. So she bought me that Gorilla CD that day. Like, that'll always stay with me. It's like going to the record store, looking at the new releases, seeing that it's in the CD player, listening to it. All right, Mama, can you buy this for me?
Yeah, after you listen. I think that's probably that was probably one of the things that birthed that idea of letting people listen to it, because there was that whole I forget which fucking politician it was, but when they started doing like the parental advisory or whatever, and you'd be like, oh, can you buy me this? And you wouldn't realize it. And then like later you hear it, your parents will hear it through the wall. They're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So it became one of those things where it's like, let me listen to it first.
Dude,
And
that
you
happened
skip
with
through every track and make sure there isn't anything fucking you play backwards or
the Marshall Mathers LP. I begged my mom to go buy it for me because Warehouse Records wouldn't sell it to me.
Because was it Tipper Gore?
I don't remember either.
Just throwing out some 80s
I just remember like Dee Snider like fighting against it and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I begged her to go get it, and I remember like putting it in the radio, like listening to really low so she doesn't
Hear it through the walls.
Yeah. So
like, what the hell? But going back to technology growing exponentially, we're only 4 years apart. I'm 4 years older than you, but you're like, we were only on MySpace. I think it was probably till like right out of high school. And you were like, when you started high school, you were like, that was something you relied on heavily. But I remember the other thing that I relied on to get new music was the compilations, like you said, that they would showcase other bands and stuff. But those like the Fearless compilation, the Fearless Flush comp, the
Warped Tour comps.
the Warped Tour ones, all the Fat Records comps. What was it, like Live Fat Die Young, and what was the other one? Oh, Punkorama. And then they started doing like the Punkos Pop and all that stuff. And hey, you'd put one of those CDs in, and you like the song, and then you have to go and like see which band it was. But that got me to also go to the record company's websites. So to go, that's how I found Thrice. Like I went to Subsidy, and I found like 15. I love that band. Thrice was on there on Subsidy, and go over to the Fearless one, go over to the Fat Records one, go over to the Epitaph one, go to all these, drive through, go to fucking all these different sites, and you would be able to play like a little clip on there of the song, and then you go to the band's page, like, oh, do these guys look cool? Like, these look pretty cool.
And then you add their song to your MySpace page, should be different. Be like, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you probably don't know this band, but I do.
Yeah. I remember. I want to say it was the Faceless, like not death metal. I don't even know. It's a metal band, but they had some like crazy ass solos and shit. That was my song forever, dude.
On your MySpace?
Yeah, just because it was so different and so loud and melodic and everything, dude. It was crazy, but I still listen to that song. And then for a long time too, it was Job for a Cowboy.
Nice.
Just that scream in the beginning, dude. Yeah, thinking about it now, I could name a bunch of the songs.
The songs that you had?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like just because that was your identity. You know, for a long time before, I remember learning how to embed a song on your MySpace profile before they added the player.
Yeah, it was with the HTML code, right?
Mm-hmm. So like every time,
Professional MySpace editor.
I think the first song I put on there was Iris, which is kind of ironic now because my daughter's name is Iris, from the Goo Goo Dolls.
Yeah.
So it's like somebody comes to my page and it's like a sappy love song type of thing.
They also sang Story of a Girl, right?
Yeah.
Delicious callback.
And then let's see, 30 Seconds to Mars.
Oh shit. I think I had a 30 Seconds of Mars song on mine too.
The Postal Service, Such Great Heights. I remember my background was like polka dots, dude.
Sick.
And then dude, HTML code. I was a fucking wizard with HTML, dude. It got, and once I started playing in bands, I would completely overhaul like
They were training us, man. They were teaching us how to code, and then they're like, this is too much power for these kids. Take it away.
I would do other bands' profiles and stuff.
How much would you charge?
I would just do it for free because I was practicing, and got really into it. Like I ended up doing this one band, some guy I used to work with, but they were like signed in Mexico. Like he would drive to Mexico over the weekend and just do gigs there.
Oh shit.
And make a shit ton of money and come back and work at Guitar Center like for the discounts basically.
That's dope.
But I redid his entire MySpace, dude. Just getting good at it, and then
There's got to be something to that, dude. They're like, we need janitors. We can't have everybody fucking coding and living outside of San Francisco, fucking making $80K a year.
yeah, maybe that's what it was. The Facebook.
I never understood that. So it was like, why did Facebook become so big? He just fucking copied MySpace. But MySpace just copied Friendster. It was just like
I think it's probably like,
just like who did it? Who did
I
it
think
better? It's
Facebook.
like Coke and Pepsi.
Yeah. Well, no, I think it's the new thing, you know.
Mm.
It's Facebook had the invite only. I remember asking my buddy like, "Hey, can you invite me?" Like,
Oh my god!
I,
I
wa- I
forgot
want
about that.
I want to say it was I want to say it was my buddy Shiloh who invited me. Shout out to Shiloh, dude.
Shiloh Pop.
No.
Shiloh Pop?
Yeah, I think it was him who invited me, and then like a couple weeks later, they took out the invites, and just people were joining and joining and joining. I remember getting on Facebook for the first time, like, what the fuck is this? Where's my bulletin board, dude? You know, I fucking miss. I to this day I say if MySpace went back to like the '06 to '10 platform, I'd be on there in a heartbeat.
Oh,
Dude.
10?
Or '10. Yeah, there's a two there's a zero. It just
010.
yeah 2010.
I don't know why they haven't done it. So everything else has come back because we're the ones with the money, baby. The millennials, like,
Dude, I would pay like
if you just put, like, they should have done it. Well, I think we talked about this before. They should have done it in connection with when we were young. They should have, when that festival was announced, like a year before the show. They should have fucking done it with MySpace and brought all that back and do the HTML code or whatever, and then people could have uploaded videos on how to do it again. And yeah, would have fucking hire me. You guys want to hire me? You guys want an idea guy? I'm your guy.
you know what's funny is I was researching one of our future projects, and all those
February 14th.
all those you remember those HTML sites where you would go in and copy, like, just, oh, this is cool, copy the whole thing and just paste
Yeah,
it.
it would have like the picture of what it was, and then you can write underneath it the text.
Yeah, dude, I would do that all the time and just take out all the like the hyperlinks and stuff and links to their profile. Like, yeah, I do this, all those websites are still up.
Really? Shit.
You could go and copy and paste and a MySpace profile. Just wait though. Just wait for the projects we got coming out, dude. And
It's recorded. It's copyrighted. As soon as you release it, it's ours. We own it.
yeah. Dude, fuck. I was gonna say, dude, I would pay to use MySpace as the 2006 to 2010 era.
And if they made a mobile version, like you open up MySpace and then the song starts playing and everything, you have your top, what's it, like top 9, top 6,
Top 8.
top 8. Fucking Tom's right there chilling.
Tom, dude.
Millennials, baby, we got the money now.
Yeah, bring it back.
Bring it back, MySpace.
Come on. I think
If even for, I mean,
Justin Timberlake. Come on.
people will get it. It'll blow up for a couple months, and then it'll slow down and everyone will go back to their Facebooks or whatever.
But nobody's using Facebook.
Yeah, that's true. I never opened that shit. I opened it the other day to find I think it's just like Light the Sky stuff, and I saw like friend requests from like 8 years ago that I never even saw. I had like no idea they were there. I was like, oh shit, my bad, dude. I'm like, he's no longer with us. I'm just kidding.
That's messed up.
I have robot legs. It's like 50 years into the future. But yeah, speaking of when you mentioned when you got Facebook for the first time, dude, it brought me back to when Facebook was already kind of a thing before I decided to get one. But what made me decide, we were hanging out. I don't remember. It was where Taking Fire recorded our first CD, and it was a studio in Arcadia, and Emilio from Remedies, he basically had the keys to the place because he was good friends with the owner, and he would go in there and like edit and stuff. But we'd also just go in there and like crush some beers and stuff. And we were hanging out, and we were in the like the mixing room, And he had a big ass computer screen, and he was on there on his Facebook showing us stuff. And he's like, "Yeah, you can make it. You can change the language to pirate."
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, "Oh my god!" I was fucking just laughing my ass off. I was like the one that found it way too funny, you know.
Yeah.
So that's when I was like, "Okay, somebody make me a Facebook." That's when I got Facebook, just so I can have the language set to pirate. But yeah, speaking of millennials having the money, I saw this. I saw an ad on fucking an article on Vice saying millennials are buying houses and making them ugly. Like that they're finally buying houses. Yeah, fucking. It's so funny. Like you look at a house, it's like $1 million now, and you look at the last time it was bought, and it was bought in like 1986, and it was bought for like 10 grand, whatever. Like fuck, bastards. It was so much easier back then.
We you know, because my wife's not in real estate, but you know, I'm not gonna say exactly what she does, but she's connected to it. So we can see like properties and stuff and what they were, when they were built, what they were bought for and stuff. So we did the research on our house, and it's like our property, so our house sold for like under 200K like 10-15 years ago. I'm like, fuck, dude.
Mm-hmm.
You know, built for whatever it was.
The complaining never stops. They're like, "Oh, millennials aren't buying houses. They're just fucking perpetual children, blah blah blah. They won't grow up." And then now that millennials are buying houses, oh, they're so ugly. Like that's because of the renovations and stuff. And they were attributing it to the HDTV, like that whole like binging HDTV, seeing those renovations and stuff. And those are all fucking staged. They're all fake. And the one thing that those do is give you those expectations, like, "Oh, okay, I'm just gonna redo my kitchen, and it'll be done in 2 days."
Yeah.
And then you actually try to do it, and you gotta fucking undone. You can't use your kitchen for like a year. Like, god damn it! It wasn't this hard on HGTV. Fuck.
Yeah, we redid our bathroom and it took like 3 weeks. It felt like, I was like, fuck.
But the audacity for somebody to say, "Oh, and they're making them ugly," it's like, shag carpeting, bro. Fucking wallpaper. Come on.
Yeah.
The fucking like the fake wood, the wood panels and all that shit. It's fucking hideous. And nobody was like, "Oh, you fucking baby boomers are finally buying houses and they're making them ugly." You know, it's like, first of all, you could buy a house for like fucking $10. And then so I was like, the fuck do you care what it looks like? You don't live here. God
Yeah,
damn it.
well, what we make in a day now is we could have bought a house, a car, fed a family for a year.
Yeah, and now we'll fucking get a latte so we can stay awake while we're working, and that's our money for the day.
Yeah.
Bastards. No, I'm just kidding. It's not. Yeah, it's like, maybe if you didn't buy coffee every day, you can buy a house. Like, okay. Yeah, because I'm spending fucking 500 grand a year on coffee. Fuck out of here.
It's only 450.
Old bastards. You old bastards.
Why don't you go back to school? Because it costs $500,000 to go to school.
Yeah. How much did it cost you, Grandpa?
I didn't go to school.
I went to the war. But yeah,
All right.
fuck that. Dude, this house, I would love to make it fucking ugly. Hear me out. So I wanted,
Do you want to park here for a minute?
yeah, I guess I'll park here. 1 minute parking.
Free parking.
So, you know, like it goes up. There's,
We should get a 1 minute parking sign, dude.
yeah, there is nothing back there. Have you looked out the window?
You haven't given me a full tour.
It's just fucking wilderness if you go back. So, and it's kind of, I'm on a mountain, on a hill. So the back, there's an incline, and I wanted to make like a draw. What are those called? Those bridges, the rope bridges.
Yeah.
I wanted to make one of them from the top floor, so from my room to the back, and then put a fucking. So there are a bunch of fucking huge trees back there, conifers or evergreens, if you will. But there are like big old trees back there. I think we had an oak tree cut in the front, cut down. But I think there's still like one or two. We had to because the fucking Edison came and did it for us. But Yeah, I wanted to put a treehouse back there too. Make it like a little pirate ship
And an outhouse.
and an outhouse. No, maybe. I don't know.
O'Brien's private outhouse.
And like
Do not
fucking
enter.
paint the house black and everything. But all that shit would be. I wanted to put a fucking fireman pole, like from the bedroom down to the game room. I would put lofts in here, so I could fucking sleep up here above the pod table. All those things would be hideous, but I would love it. You know. And it's my house, and this is America, so fuck off.
And you just tell me all these ideas. I'm like, I'm just seeing your property value go.
Yeah, I would be selling the land basically.
Hey,
If I
dude.
sold the house, like, just tear it down.
Hey, dude, I want to move. You know, I'm going to sell my house. It's like, they're only offering me $1,000 for my house.
Or I can just sell it to another fucking immature person.
Hey, you on
A fun person, the fun creative.
You on a quest too, my bro?
Hey,
Want to live in the mountains?
you want to live in a pirate ship? I converted this house into a pirate ship. That was my dream when I was a kid. If I ever buy a house, I'm gonna turn it into a pirate ship, and then fucking fire cannons of like confetti at my neighbors and shit. Yar.
All right, dude. Too much millennial talk. We got to get into. We got to do what's trending now.
Shout out to millennials.
It's true.
Yeah, we are sleepy. We're getting old.
We have to start doing what's trending. If we want this podcast to explode, we have to be trendy. So there's this trend going on. It's been going on for like a month or two now. I see it on TikTok. I see it on Instagram. I see it on Facebook because I still go on.
You still go on Facebook?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Excuse me. It's basically like a get to know me bands edition. I'm pretty sure you guys heard of it already too, and you've made your list in your head. Like, oh yeah. So we're gonna end this episode by doing that. Maybe make a clip or two out of it. We'll see. But yeah,
I'm ready to be embarrassed.
let's see. I have it written down here because I don't remember it because I'm old. It's gonna go. What is the most recent band you listened to? What is your first love?
Mm-hmm.
What is your new love? What is an underrated band? What band gets you hyped? What do you listen to? What band do you listen to when you're angry? What band do you love seeing live? What band do you want to see live but haven't or can't? And then what band can you listen to forever? This segment is called Let's Get Trendy.
Segments. No segments, just stream of consciousness. Just kidding.
It's a segment. Let's get trendy.
All right. Let's get trendy. More power, baby.
More power, baby.
Shout out to Donut Media, dude. I love that channel. That's my new favorite channel on YouTube.
All right, YouTube, who's going first?
You.
Me?
I read the questions, bro.
Okay.
I came up with this segment. So the most recent band you listen to.
My most recent band is Movements.
Why? Tell me about this.
Let's talk about that. If you guys haven't checked out Movements, they're very good. I guess we would call it it's kind of like a Midwest emo. I actually don't know too much about them. When I was playing drums for Vain and Valor, we played a show with them. I think it might have been like their CD release show or something, but it was a while ago, and they were kind of blowing up at the time, and then they blew. I think they played when we were young. I remember because I had a little bit of a gripe because I was like, these guys are young. What are you talking about when we were young? They were probably asking the other bands to buy them beer and shit. But yeah, well, they were young when we played that show with them. And I have a horrible sense of direction and time. So in my head, we played that show 2 years ago. It could have been fucking 9 years ago. And, it's all the same to me. It's all a blur, people. But yeah, they're very good Movements. Not bell. But but the band's name is Movements, and that's my most recent. And I have a couple of playlists on my Spotify that they're featured in, and I find myself skipping through the songs and then stopping at Movement songs. So that's one of my most.
Let me
recent.
stop you there real quick. Instagram at Share The Backline. We have a link tree in our bio. We're gonna start adding playlists to that Spotify playlist that you guys could add music to. Spotify. We had some requests for O'Brien's 90s emo mix.
My 90s depressing mix.
So we're gonna start throwing just
Oh, I made another one. It's called Heavy as Balls.
okay, there you go. So if you guys are interested in listening to what we listen to, or you want to there's going to be some playlist where you guys can add stuff to it too. And what the hell? That wasn't even a burp. That wasn't even a burp, dude. That was just like
just the air gurgling.
Yeah, I've been drinking nothing but water, dude. But so keep an eye out on that. I'll probably do it when I get home or something, or like in a week.
Yeah, we can make like a community playlist.
It'll be out when I edit this podcast. Oh, I've totally forgot.
Yeah.
And then ADD onto just.
I can just imagine people putting on fucking dumb songs on there. But
I'm all for it, dude.
Yeah.
I'm all for it.
Funny songs.
We're going to have a meme playlist only.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun.
Fireflies.
And maybe you find something new to listen to. So.
Yeah, there you go. We'll put some new bands on there. Put the bands that we feature on here.
All right.
So that's my most recent.
Do you want to keep going, or do you want to go back and forth?
Oh yeah, hit me with your most recent. We'll do that.
Back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
My most recent is gonna be A Day to Remember, and that is because I just watched a video. I think the YouTube channel is called Punk Rock MBA. Shout out to them or him. He had a long video of the rise of A Day to Remember, and what really stuck out was them suing Victory and winning.
What?
They sued them and they won $4 million in back royalties and
Holy
stuff.
Shit.
And back in, I don't know, 2012, they changed the game, dude. They brought that hate breed and that Blink-182 style together and created this new pop punk that nobody's heard of. I remember, I think I said it on here already. It's hearing A Day to Remember on K-Rock was a victory for me. It's this band that I love is on the radio, and it never had been done before.
Mm-hmm.
Especially that type of music. So.
Oh, I have a funny story about that. You know Ash, the singer for my band Taking Fire. He told me once he was at I guess K-Rock, the K-Rock band was at his school. I think he was going to Cal Poly Pomona or something, and or Fullerton. Ryan Gutierrez went to Cal Poly Pomona. He went to Fullerton. Anyway, the guy was there and he was playing music through the speakers. There was a festival thing, and he was playing Poison the Well. And we were big Poison the Well fans. And he goes up to the guy, he's like, how do you know Poison the Well? It's why do you guys play this here? And then on the radio, you play a bunch of shit. And he told him straight up, he's like, dude, you'd be surprised. He's like, think about who's listening to the radio. He's like, there's a ton of fucking 10-year-olds that just want to listen to Linkin Park all day. So that's what we play. It's oh shit. He's like, we know the bands exist. We know what's going on in music, but it's got to be catered to people that are listening to music at that particular hour or whatever. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Fucking asshole.
Your parking Yeah, so A Day to Remember's been recent for me, and that's really why. First Love. I think this one's we're pretty close in this one.
Are we? Or are we exactly the same?
I think we're exactly the same, dude.
Michael Jackson. No, I'm just kidding.
Speaking of, okay, hold on. So
Are you going to park here?
Yeah, no, I'm just going to turn on my hazards and Dude, my wife
Grab
showed
something out of the truck real quick.
Yeah, my wife showed me a video, and it just had the sound of Step Brothers. It's like, did we just become best friends? Yep. Like it was just two dogs, and like they make the same movement right away. But she's like, this is you and O'Brien now. Like,
Every time we fucking finish each other's sandwiches.
yep, yeps. First Love, just say it together. 3, 2, 1. Metallica. I mean, yeah. We've talked about them a bunch already.
Mm-hmm.
It's I'm pretty sure it's pretty common knowledge.
Yeah. First, I want to say I was like 6 years old, and my older brother had a friend who had an older brother, and like a much older brother, and he was kind of like a no good Nick, just like a fucking scumbag metalhead guy.
Yeah.
But we would always go to his house, and I remember, they were out like playing in the yard or something, and I was just in his room, and it was like one of those fucking dingy like rooms, like metal rooms, like the fucking mattress is on the bed and shit, and he had like a boom
The mattress
box
is on the bed. Yeah.
the mattress on the floor, and he had a boom box, and then like a stack of CDs and tapes and records and stuff, and I remember picking up fucking Injustice for All for the first time and seeing it and thinking like that it looked scary. It was like Meatloaf. That album. It looked metal. That one wasn't, but Injustice for All fucking looked metal. And then I saw the Kill 'Em All one and the Master of Puppets, and I popped them in, and hearing that fucking Blackened, how it comes in with the guitar,
In reverse.
yeah.
Yeah.
That just fucking changed my life.
Yeah. Black.
So and I remember I never really told anybody that because I was like but I was like in elementary school. I was like 7, 8 years old after already listening to Metallica for years, and it was kind of like still kind of taboo. Like I loved it, but I kind of didn't want, because nobody else listened to that kind of music at where I went to school in Monterey Park in Monterey Highlands, or at least I thought. Everybody was like secretly listening to metal. But yes, I was listening after Metallica, I got like Sepultura and Pantera and Guns N' Roses and all that stuff, and I would take the CDs from my brother and burn and dub them on cassette because I only had a Walkman. I didn't have a Discman back then. But yeah, and then the first song I'm sure for a lot of people, the first song they ever learned was either an AC/DC song or Enter Sandman, because it's that same fucking 2/4 beat. But that was the first song that I learned on drums. It was a Metallica song. It was just the fucking easiest metal song ever. Yeah, and then you get to play with the toms and shit. You get to use the whole drum set, but also you're not doing
It's
much.
super easy.
Yeah.
Metallica for me, it starts when I was a wee lad, just like yourself. I think it was in like first grade. It's a long story. Real quick, we'll save it for another pod. But I was in a limo with Metallica. That's all I got to say about that. And then it like
Fucking Forrest Gump.
that's all I got to say about that.
I believe he said he had to go pee.
And then I didn't really get into them, but it was at that time I knew who they were. My grandpa called them Metallics.
The Metallics.
And then my dad's like, Metallica? He's like, yeah, those guys. And I remember my dad running upstairs, running back down, had a copy of Kill 'Em All, opened it up, and just pointed out who I saw in the limo and stuff. And then a couple years later, my cousin's asking my uncles, like, hey, what's that song where they say master a lot? He's like, Master Puppets, check it out. And we did, and fell in love, dude. First song I learned all the way through on guitar was Seek and Destroy. And been a fan since, dude. Like I told you the other day, I used to practice drawing the Metallica logo on everything during school and stuff, and ended up spray painting it on my wall.
Classic.
Yeah, so Metallica, first love.
Nice.
What's your new love?
I don't know what my new love is, but if I wanted to fill that that space that Metallica had for me, it would probably be Gojira as far as metal goes. For a band that I fucking all their albums I can listen to all the way through, and it doesn't matter what type of mood I'm in. It's always fucking Gojira time. So
Nice.
Gojira is the the drumming does the same for me as like when I listen to Lars for the first time, or listen like live shit binge and purge where he's like fucking obviously like coked out because he was playing way too fast
Yeah.
and fucking just like playing all the songs fucking all nuts. But yeah, Gojira is definitely one of those bands that there's just the rhythms and the timing and the fucking drums and the vocals, all of it's just is very unique. And yeah, I would say it's like my new love as far as metal goes. About you?
I'm gonna go with a band probably a lot of people haven't heard of, but they should have. They should hear is this band called Dragged Under. Awesome band, awesome dudes. You know, I talked to a lot of them. Ryan Bruce Fluff is their guitar player. I remember watching his videos while I was working in front of a computer. You know, like just years and years ago, and like following his stuff. But my buddy Schultz told me about him. Shout out to Schultz. And I fell in love with them, dude. And they're just an amazing band. Crazy rhythm parts, crazy guitar parts. All really good musicians. Tony vocals, like just they're awesome, dude. And I just like you can listen to them front to backs. I can listen to Dragged Under forever. They used to start out when I was streaming. The song that would start on my stream was a Dragged Under song. And
Sick.
fucking love them, dude. Underrated band.
I couldn't really think of one, but what did come to mind was Deftones. Not that they're underrated because they're kind of you don't listen to Deftones, right? 'Cause it's it became kind of one of those things because they came out with all those other like new metal bands that they kind of got lumped in with like Limp Bizkit and Korn and stuff. And not saying Korn sucks or anything or Limp Bizkit, but they're just so much different than all those bands. And I think when it was just timing, when they came out with those bands, and those bands kind of blew up and they were kind of like left in the dust a little bit. I know they've been around for a really long time, but it's definitely one of those bands that should have maybe blown up a little more. But it influenced, I know it influenced a lot of Wolf stuff, and it influenced a lot of my drumming, and got me listening to more like hip hop drums and stuff like that.
Nice.
What do you got?
Underrated is a local band, actually. We're actually going to have Chris on, who plays guitar. He's a fucking riff machine, dude. And they're going to be featured at the end of this episode is Quiet Fear.
Nice.
Doing a lot of things, not questionable, but like outside of the box, like that heavy, hard,
Questionable.
not. I couldn't think of a good word.
Yeah.
That's not the right word.
Yeah.
Like that was the first thing that came into mind, and I'm like, no, that's not it. But I had to like get it out so I can get it out of my head. But taking chances, dude. I'll admit, like when Chris started posting that stuff, I would check it out, and but now it's like I can't stop listening to it, dude.
It's really fucking good. You
And,
showed me them. It's like, holy shit.
They're doing big things, touring. They'll go on like mini tours in Mexico and stuff, dude. And I'm excited to have Chris on and talk to him about this because they have a lot of songs in Spanish, and for them to take that chance, and I'm curious to see like how it's affecting the either negatively or positive, like getting shows out here, like it's working in Mexico, but dude, they're fucking good.
Yeah.
I just bought I was told you before, like my first vinyl, like really I purchased was their vinyl. And like I said, they'll be featured at the end of this. I haven't decided what song I want to put on. But yeah, definitely check them out. They'll be linked and everything. So,
Yeah, super, super good.
what's a band that gets you hyped? We got to start running through these, dude, because we're
What are we at?
I think we're at like 110 already.
Oh shit! All right. So it all started when I was a kid. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Hyped. Probably Mastodon. Just those fucking the fast drums and those riffs that they have, like very kind of like funk influence, but super fucking heavy. Or God's Hate. I really like God's Hate. It's just like fucking that beat down.
Are they on?
hardcore.
I'm pretty sure you'll find them on your Heavy as Balls
Yeah, God's
playlist.
Hate. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. For me, this is a recent discovery that I found gets me hyped. It's actually TIE Fighter.
I've witnessed it. So if you boys are listening, I've seen it happen where he's fucking falling asleep in the car, and then put that video on. And he's like fucking Weekend at Bernie's. He's asleep. All of a sudden, he starts dancing.
Yeah, dude. So thank you guys.
Shout out to TIE Fighter.
Yeah, dude, for sure. I can't wait. Bands that you listen to when you're angry.
You've probably noticed this, and you've asked me about it before, but I don't really have a temper, so I don't really get angry. I mean, if you knew me when I was like 20, maybe. But, but yeah, I'll get upset, kind of, I guess. But if things are bothering me, I kind of do the opposite. I kind of try to mellow out, and I have like a moody mix, and on there is like, Title Fight, Blood Dispute, Mom Jeans, Men's and Jers, Slow Drive, Bright Eyes, like mellow shit like that, and it gets me kind of in a different headspace.
I'm the complete opposite of you, dude. If
You
I'm,
can lean into it.
yeah,
Give me something to break.
if I'm mad, you'll know because I'm listening to probably like System of a Down, or Pantera. It's like either one of those.
Still fuel on the fire.
Fucking one of the.
Get in your car and drive too fast.
Yeah. Exactly. Band you love singing live.
I think I like Sing Thrice live, just because of how simplistic their shows are. Like, not to say they're like basic or whatever, but they do very subtle things that are like, when you see it, it's just like it's a vibe.
Yeah.
With the lights and stuff, and just the way they've grown musically, it's almost like a fucking a musical timeline that you can watch on stage from when they started to now, and you're kind of seeing, it's almost like for me in my head, it's almost like watching the evolution of Dance Dance. You remember that?
Yeah.
It's like, so you see them like playing, and you can see like the evolution of that scene, like that OC, like emo post-hardcore scene, and you watch it and evolve. And just the you can see the fans too, the different, like when they get fucking all like, oh, fucking Identity Crisis or Artists in the Ambulance, when they play those songs, like a certain section of the group will fucking go nuts. You can see all the bros, in the pit and shit. And then for the nerd shit, you see kids like with their arms crossed and stuff, like fucking counting in their head, all the weird
The
times
metronome in
and
their ear.
shit. Yeah, all those nerds. And it's and then you get people that just fucking love the whole thing,
Yeah.
So yeah, I love watching that, them and as far as the crowd goes.
This one was a little difficult for me because there's so many bands I've seen so many times. Iron Maiden comes to mind. Always put it on a good show.
Yeah.
I just saw them recently. It was fucking insane,
Yeah, if you haven't seen Iron Maiden, fucking it's fucking cool to see.
Like a band like Coheed. I've seen them so many times. Always a great show. Senses Fail, like a billion times I've seen them. But the one band I'll never probably get tired of seeing is 4 Year Strong. Nice. Just that super duper high energy, the crowd into every, hanging on every word that they say, like, or sing, and it's 4 Year Strong, hands down. No disrespect to the other bands, but nobody could put out a show like 4 Years Strong, you know?
Yeah.
What's a band you want to see but haven't or can't?
Or can? I don't know that was an option.
No, just or haven't.
Fuck. Pearl Jam.
Okay.
I've had so many opportunities to go see them, and something's always come up, and I've never seen them. And I know that it's a lot different seeing them now, today, in 2023, than it was seeing them like in 1994. It's a completely different show. And I had opportunities even like when I was in high school to go see them, and for whatever reason, I just have not gone. And it would be really cool to see that. I know it's like I hear like the shows are kind of boring now, but just to see fucking Eddie Vedder up there, and it's most of the same guys. Just to see it, just to say it, I've seen it once in my life. Is this kind of bummed out because I was a big am a big Tom Petty fan from when I was very young to now, and it was one of those things too where I was like, oh, I'll see him another time, and then
He's gone. Yeah.
R.I.P. Tom Petty. But I don't want that to happen with Pearl Jam. Again, a big part of my upbringing in rock and roll, and still to this day. Last year was my top artist. I didn't realize how much I listened to fucking Pearl Jam until like if you would have asked me, I never would have fucking guessed that it was Pearl Jam. But yeah, definitely want to catch them live while I can.
For me, it's Pantera. They're the only band on my list twice. Whether it's Dimebag, Vinnie Paul, Rex and Phil, or even today's Pantera. That I was on Vinnie Paul's Instagram, and both estates, the Dimebag and Vinnie Paul, like gave their full blessing for them to go out and do this and stuff. And I do want to see them. They're playing with Metallica too, so it's like, if I can get a ticket to that,
Yeah,
that'd be huge. But yeah, Pantera, band I've always wanted to see. Just their music is insane. And got me through a lot. Like I said, I listen to them when I'm angry, and I think listening to that, like that heavy angry music, brings me down. Not like sad or anything, but like calms me down, lets me get out my anger in my head through the music.
mm-hmm.
And so they've done a lot for me as a band. Dimebag was, his guitar was like the first real electric guitar I ever got. But yeah, Pantera. So in the last question, which band do you think you could listen to forever?
It's gotta be Smashing Pumpkins for me. Just yeah. If you're a fan of Smashing Pumpkins, you know what I'm talking about. That fucking Billy Corgan's voice and those drums and the guitar in there. That's another band where there's like little things when you listen to them. It's like, why did he do that? It's like weird little chord progressions that you wouldn't expect if you're listening to a song for the first time, and then a lot of albums that you can listen to just back to back and just different, like Siamese Dreams. Fucking that whole, like, every song is so different from one another, but they're all so fucking good.
Yeah. For me, it's Senses Fail. There's a few bands where it's like, if I'm on an island, can I listen to nothing but this? And one of them, the one that always comes out on top is Senses Fail. Especially like that Still Searching era when Heath joined from Midtown, and Life Is Not a Waiting Room era. Like those two albums were a huge inspiration to a lot of things I did musically.
Mm-hmm.
And then like the B-side stuff on Still Searching, like a lot of that stuff is just incredible, and yeah, it's Sense of Fail for sure, hands down.
Sick.
So
Shout out to Census Fail.
of course, dude. So that's it. That's Getting to Know Us, Bands Edition. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Our first real segment, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Or no, what was the segment? I already forgot. Let's get trendy or
Let's
something.
get trendy.
Something like that.
Yeah. So if you like the segments, let us know.
Yeah, and if you guys have ideas for different segments, you can let us know on Instagram at Share the Backline, on YouTube, youtube.com/at Share the Backline. Also, that's pretty much it. I think I'm gonna start using Twitter a lot more for the Share the Backline. Right now it's like at Share Backline. No the.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, but I'm gonna change it because we can do something cool with it, like a nod to Taking Back Sunday to be Share the Backline without the E cut from the team,
Yeah.
So look for that. If you're on Twitter, the Twitterverse, Share the Backline without the E cut from the team. Our national anthem. Anyways, guys, do you have anything else actually?
No, just like and subscribe on youtube.com/at Share the Backline. We got some new subscribers with that last episode, and it's very exciting. So we want to keep that momentum going.
Yeah. Thank you to all our subscribers, all our followers on Instagram, guys. We're a couple away from 100, which was always a milestone for both of us.
Yeah, thank you all for sharing and liking.
Yeah, thank you so much. We really do appreciate it. Again, say that I don't know if we said it last episode, but that was a good episode, and we had a lot going on. But thank you guys for hanging out. Really do appreciate it again. And whenever you're listening to this, I hope you're having a great day, great evening, great afternoon.
Yeah, have one of those.
All right, we'll talk to you guys later. Peace.